The law says Maryam Ibrahim is a Muslim because that's her father's faith. Maryam, a doctor of medicine, says she was raised as a Christian by her mother. Her father disappeared when she was 6 years old. Well, now a court in Sudan has found her guilty of apostacy. That's the crime of rejecting your religion. And she's been sentenced to death for converting to Christianity. On top of that, the 27-year-old, who is 8 months pregnant, has also been sentenced to 100 lashes for adultery. That was for marrying a South Sudanese Christian man. Well, Maryam's lawyers told the BBC today they will appeal that sentence.
There
are legal restrictions that prevent the punishment because she's pregnant. According to the law, no punishment is allowed until she gives birth and breastfeed for 2 years. Our strategy will be to challenge the verdict at the Appeal Court, the Supreme Court and the Constitutional Court. We had several similar cases, but they were slightly different. The only similar case was that of martyr Mahmoud Muhammad Taha, who did not convert from Islam. His trial was basically a political one. Apart from that, there were those who claimed they were God or something, but no punishment was ever put in place.
That's the view from her lawyer. With me now is Kiri Kankwende from the Christian Solidarity Worldwide and our BBC Arab Affairs reporter Yusuf Taha. Thank you both for joining us. Kiri, can I start with you? If we can just get the sort of legal niceties of this appalling case straight first of all. By law, by Sharia law, Maryam is a Muslim. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, because her father was, regardless of what happened in her later life. But of course, from Maryam's perspective, she has been a Christian all her life, and that's what she knows, and she can't return to Islam because she never was a Muslim as far as she's concerned.
Right, but from the law of the land, as it were, she has committed an offence.
Yes. And furthermore, by marrying a Christian man, she's also been charged with adultery because the marriage is not considered valid.
I mean, that in itself raises questions of whether you can commit adultery for having relations with a non-Muslim man and yet also be found guilty of apostasy, which is abandoning your religion. They seem to be contradictory.
Yes, and in fact her marriage certificate did actually have her classified as a Christian on it, and so you know, we'd love to see this this sentence, appalling sentence, annulled and her freed.
Right, let's say we know it's going to appeal. It would have to. I mean, it would be extraordinary were it not to go to appeal. Can I put it this way? How has she got herself into this position? Because she cannot be the first woman to be confronted with this sort of scenario.
But it's the first case where this kind of sentence has been passed, even though none of the previous similar incidents have been carried out. Now, the case of this Dr. Maryam, who is 27 years old, she's 8 months pregnant. Under Islam, no sentence can be carried out until a woman gives birth and then breastfeeds for 2 years. So, for the moment, this sentence cannot be carried out for 2 years and 1 month. Now, Dr. Maryam has been sentenced
That's
under...
a bit of a sort of death row scenario in a way, though, isn't it?
In a way, yes, but one suspects that within that time frame, the case would have been challenged in the courts and also be a massive backlash from the rest of the world and the international community to annul it. Now, the Sudanese constitution guarantees freedom of belief, but Sudanese Penal Code, Article 126, criminalizes reversion from Islam, that is, conversion from Islam into any other faith. Under Islam itself, a Muslim man can marry a Christian or a Jewish woman, but a Muslim woman cannot marry a non-Muslim man because of the children that would result from that marriage.
Is that effectively, you've just written out the argument for the appeal, have you?
Oh, pretty much, I think so. So this lady here, she was born to a Muslim father and an Ethiopian Christian mother. The father disappeared from their lives when she was around 6 years old, and therefore the mother raised her as a Christian daughter. And therefore, she grew up as a Christian, practicing Christianity, and she married a Christian man from South Sudan. Now, she'd been held since mid-February in prison, in Omdurman women's prison, and of course separated from her husband, because the courts do not see that marriage as valid.
Right. Can I just ask you, Kiri, then? Obviously, there is a legal system here, and there's a process taking place. Nonetheless, there's also a massive social element to this, which immediate impact would be on the family. What has been their position with regard to, like, the mother and the brother as well, a bit, with regard to Maryam? What have they been encouraging her to do?
Well, I understand that her mother is deceased, but certainly her family is distressed. Her husband has reported that he hasn't been able to see her, and obviously the fact that her child, her 20-month-old baby boy, is being held with her as well, is obviously deeply problematic. She's also been denied medical assistance, and in any circumstance that would be difficult, but when you're pregnant, even more so. But her family is standing behind her.
Right, because I just wonder, from your perspective, what is the sort of direction of advice you would give to people in this situation? Is it to say, look, just spare yourself, go with the flow, say what needs to be said, or stand by your principles?
We would have to say, follow your conscience. You can't tell someone in that position, to stand strong if they don't want to. I mean, she's chosen to in this case, and we respect her decision. But certainly we wouldn't judge her if she chose to go the other way, because it's an impossible choice. And it's a choice someone shouldn't have to make in the 21st century. It is absolutely
a desperate and impossible situation. Well, Kiri, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Said, thank you. And thank you for being with us here on Global. Still to come in the programme.